I am so glad to see those of you able to hop on this call today. This is a special moment for me. Number one, I am out of bed and feeling so amazing. And like we were just talking before I started this call, health is wealth. And when you are feeling really bad and you are in the middle of sickness, or maybe one of your old health issues kind of pops up again and you realize, ooh, we got to move forward with my plexus stuff. I got to ramp things up again. I've got to eat cleaner. When those little things pop up, you stop and go, oh my goodness, I was taking my health for granted. And I will tell you, this last week with the nerve pain I was experiencing, the mental health like challenges there, you guys, the temptation to despair, all those things had
And
me
he had dementia. He probably had dementia.
had me in my feels all over again because I was thinking, this is how so many of my customers feel. This is how so many people are feeling down my street that I do not know all of my neighbors yet, you guys. There might be like chronic pain sufferers next door to me. What are we doing? Like, let's get back to what this is all about. And it really is helping people live with more health and more happiness. The financial state of things, every time I am standing at the store about to purchase something, the cashier will say something to the effect of, isn't this crazy? Aren't the prices crazy? Wow, did you expect this to be $300? And I'm like, I know. Costco, our Costco family trips, they are one third more now. Oh, yeah, one third more. We're buying the same thing. So people need what we have. I'm so excited to have Kyle Raney on this call. You guys, I cannot believe we've never had him on our Guts and Grace team call. My husband loves Kyle. They like bonded. I think it was one of our Maui trips. They both earned like a spa day with their wives. Actually, Kyle was an ambassador, so he probably earned his own. But my husband was there with me, but they had to go to the man side, and the women went to the women's side. And all I have to say is, some people did not believe in bathing suits on both sides, and my husband was like, "Oh my the world!" So they helped each other out, kept each other in the right places, and we've just been watching the Rainies for a long time, homeschooling their kids. I think now their kids are in schools, and they're so blessed to be doing that. They're in Idaho, right, Kyle? But this guy, he loves the Lord. He fears God. He aims to walk in accordance with God's word. And he loves not only our company, you guys, but he loves this industry. And he got the One Plexus Award. Oh, yeah, last convention, all of us there were crying. There was not a dry eye in the house because we knew that this guy deserved it. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say. I've said enough. And when you hear just how he shares, you guys are just going to be, I believe, so strengthened and empowered, not only to end the month, but have your vision cast forward, right, for the rest of 2025. Kyle, take it away. So glad to have you, brother.
Hey, thanks so much, Bridget. I really appreciate it. Hey, everybody, it's good to see you on the middle of the day. That's impressive. I have night owls on my team, so we have to meet late at night because we have a lot of people who work full time and all the things. So, and you actually have your camera on, which again, can you just teach my people that that's appropriate and okay? It doesn't matter if you're all done up or not, but you all look great. Just to be clear, I did keep my bathing suit on. That wasn't in part of the story. I don't know if you caught that part. We both kept our bathing suits on. So just to make sure that it wasn't that he was protecting himself from me. So we were protecting each other from seeing things that we can't unsee. So, but anyway, so just to make sure that that was clarified there. I want to ask real quick before we get going because you are going to dictate which direction this goes, and I'm curious. Are we, for the most part, on this call, are we pretty much saged, experienced brand ambassadors here? Like this isn't like your first team meeting, right? Like you've done a couple of these, you've been in the company for a little bit. I mean, even if it's only been like a few months, that's okay. But like we're good. Everybody's looking like, yes, you didn't accidentally stumble upon a meeting that you don't know where you're at, but you just go to random Zoom meetings, put in a number and see if it works. Everybody's good? Okay. All right. So good. We have 3 to 4 newbies here. That's fantastic. Awesome. Like brand new? Like, what's this Plexus thing? Okay, cool. No, that's great. So, what I want to do today, I really want to talk to you a little bit. I mean, you just woke up and you saw subscriptions run, and you're either like super happy or super like, "What am I doing?" So, why are my points like this? What are things? What went wrong? So, I want to give a little bit of context, maybe tell you a little bit of my story. I always hate doing this. I hate saying like, "Well, you probably heard our story." That sounds so arrogant, but our story's been tossed around. We've been around for quite a while, 10 years now in Plexus, and so. But I do want to give you a Reader's Digest version, which I know that just lost everybody on the call that's under the age of 40. Like you're like, I'm sorry, Reader's what? It's okay. Google it, look it up. It's a neat little book that we used to read in doctor's offices all the time when we were bored as kids. So Reader's Digest. But anyway, I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis. And those of you who are 40 older, you're laughing now. So good for you. And so good for you for having a humor. But you just outed yourself too on your age. But here's the thing. I'm going to give you just a tiny snippet of our journey. But I really want to talk to you today about your mindset. And it's probably not like any other mindset talk that you've ever got. So I know you hear mindset, you're like, oh my gosh, I know Bridget talks about this all the time. We know about mindset, we know about positive mindset. It's okay. Just stick with me. Stick with me. All right. So Cassie and I, we live in yeah, I'm 38. Well, it's okay. We were close. But I've been 38 now for 5 years, so it's okay. It's cool. But Cassie and I, we have been in Plexus for 10 years. We do have 9 children. 3 of those children are adopted from China. We started in 2014 here in with Plexus, and our journey was a little bit interesting. So I was a pastor for 16 years. I pastored at various different churches, but most of my time was spent in Oregon. That's the state up in the Northwest where all the hippies live, in case you were wondering. But we were in Oregon for a long time in ministry. But how we kind of started in Plexus was kind of a strange occurrence. I was teaching at a local university there in Portland, Oregon, and I was an interim pastor. So basically, the guy that they didn't want, but I'm just the fill the gap in order to help them find the guy they do want. And so I had kind of a knack and a little bit of a reputation of being able to come into churches and kind of revive them and help them rebuild while they're looking for their long-term pastor. So that's what I was doing. Everything was great. Everything was wonderful. And within 3 days in August of 2014, I lost both of my jobs. I lost my job as a professor and I lost my job as an interim pastor. And now that's really talented. If you can lose a job, both jobs in a matter of 72 hours, something's going on, right? Something's going on. So basically, what happened in both situations where they brought me in, said, "Hey, we really like you. You're awesome. We just don't like you enough to pay you anymore because budget's down, giving's down. We don't have the funds. And we got to let you go." So I was basically laid off from both jobs. I look back at it now. I always laugh. I thought, I really wish they just said like, "You stink. You're terrible. You're a horrible employee. We're going to fire you." I'd rather that than then give you the compliment sandwich and then let you go. You're great. It's awesome. We don't have the money. Sorry, got to let you go, but you're still awesome. I'm like, well, that's not going to pay my bills. So I come home realizing we just lost both sources. Yeah, the worst kind of breakup. That's good. Yeah, it's true. We lost both sources of our income and we did not know what to do. And I had to do one of the most humbling things I've ever had to do in my life. And that is go apply for food stamps. I know some of you may have been in that situation, grew up in that situation, you've been there, you understand it. And I'll never forget, I was in the Department of Health and Human Services in Portland, and it just, you ever walk in and even the art on the wall looks like it's like come to die. Like it's like the grave. Like I think government buildings are like the graveyard for bad hotel art. Like I walk into there and there's a beach scene from the 1970s. I'm like, number one, we're in Oregon. I don't know why there's a beach scene here. And it just was more depressing. But when the guy handed me my food stamps card, which by the way, full, just be really honest, I thought I was going to get a book of stamps. I just didn't know, right? I didn't know. Apparently that stopped around 2002. Okay, but he handed me a debit card or EBT card. And he said, "Congratulations, Mr. Raney, you've been approved of food stamps." And all I heard was, "You failed. You failed." And I drove 20 minutes back to my little farmhouse in the outside of Portland, my little hipster farmhouse with my chickens and sheep and all that. And it's a real thing. We did have those things. And I kept thinking, I can't dream anymore because how is it possible for me to dream about the future if I don't know how we're going to pay our bills tomorrow? Right. And so thankfully, though, shortly after that, I was able to acquire a job at a missions agency. The problem is that missions agency had me flying all over the country, speaking at different conferences and different things. And so I was never home. Well, I come home one day after a long trip in Toronto. And my wife has, at the time, had developed. I found out she had Hashimoto's thyroid disease. Was losing her hair. Anything she ate, she was getting sick. I mean, it was just terrible. We were pretty desperate. But when your finances are rough and bad, like health is the last thing you think about. You don't care. Like it's just like we'll just put a band-aid on it and let's just keep going. Well, I walk in thinking that, when you're gone and you have, at the time, we only had 5 kids, so small family at the time. But when you think, after you've been gone, you're going to tag your wife out, she can go take a nap and, whatever, she's going to be low energy. Can't wait. So glad you're home. I come in and she's just bouncing around, has all this energy. And I'm like, okay, a couple of things may have happened here. One, you're having a nervous breakdown, or two, our neighbors who are the pot farmers, it is Oregon. Did you eat some brownies you weren't supposed to? Like, what's happening here? Like, what's going on? Like, you just say, look, this is just we're all family here, right? We can just be really honest. That's the thoughts that came in my head. Well, I was wrong on both accounts. She had ordered some products from this place called Plexus and got a triplex for all my OGs here. You know that triplex, that was the only thing we sold and talked about back in the day, right? And so she had been on the products for about a couple of days. She got the product. She bought them from a gal who was 15 in my student ministry several years before that. Okay. And so like I still think of her as 15. She's like 30 something now, but I mean, I still see her as 15. So she bought them from her, and she did it by stealing my birthday money. Now, I don't know if any of you are from the South. Anybody from the South? Anybody live in the South or whatever? Anybody? Nobody? Nobody here. Okay. So in the South, there's a thing that happens, particularly with the firstborn child, particularly if you're male. Your mom, your grandmother, your aunt will send you $5, $10, or whatever every birthday. It doesn't matter. You can be turning 60. If they're still around, they're going to send you money. It's just a thing they do. Well, Cassie stole my birthday money. She literally took my birthday money and bought her first round of triplex. The best thievery she's ever had done and ever did in her entire life because it changed her lives. Well, she was feeling so good on these products, and we had a problem. We couldn't afford them. We could literally not pay for the products again. But I knew my wife needed these products and I wanted to get on these products. And so is that only a Southern thing? It's not only a Southern thing, but it just, if you're from the South, you can kind of relate to it too. Especially when like your grandmother starts getting like, older in age and she forgets that she already sent you the money and then she sends you again the next month. That's the best. It's like double lottery. It's amazing. So here's the thing. We began to have a conversation. I was pastoring at the time or trying to find another pastorate. And we began to have this conversation of, well, what if we began to share about these products and really started working this thing called network marketing? And I had no clue what network marketing was. Neither of us had any sales background, any marketing background. But I don't know. Have you ever been in a place where you've just been so desperate, everything sounds good? Like anything sounds good. Like you just don't care. Like you've lost complete, like there is no filter anymore. You have lost all humility. You don't care. Like you just do not care what people think. You have to do something. And so I know some of your husbands may have been like, oh, honey, I don't know this, I don't know. And you had to drag them along. I was like, cool. Is it legal? She's like, I think so. I'm like, cool. As long as it's like legal enough to keep us out of jail, let's do it. And so we came in fairly desperate and we started sharing. And here's the funny thing is our entire upline, which we didn't even know what that meant at the time, they were thousands of miles away in Oklahoma. So we had zero connection. We didn't know anybody. And so it kind of worked to our advantage because we didn't know any better but to share about the opportunity. We didn't know you're supposed to talk about the products. Like we would every once in a while, we'd be like, hey, who wants to make money? Who wants to pay for their kids' gymnastics? Who wants to, who's tired of putting things on credit card? And everybody's like, oh, me, 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 me. And so we go, hey, got these great products you can talk about and whatever. And it was pretty incredible. People started coming out of the woodworks, and we paid for that first round of products out of my birthday money and never again paid for products out of our own income again. I remember when the first check came in, it was like, $400. And I'm like asking Cassie, I'm like, okay, seriously, are we sure? Do we need to pass the legal test? Do I need to send to a lawyer friend? Like, is this real? And she said, it's real. I said, okay, let's just go in full force. Now, long story short, again, I told you it's going to be short and I've spent way too much time on it. But, we were in at the very beginning. Every single one of our jewels now that are on our team came to us within those first 6 months. So they've been with us for 9+ years. Okay. Because we were we literally didn't know any better but to talk about the opportunity. And I know when I say that, you're probably thinking, yeah, but I'm not good at that, or I'm worried about that, or that scares me, or that I don't know what to talk about money, or I'm a follower of Jesus and money, and I've been told my whole life I can't be driven, I can't have hustle, I can't have ambition, I can't have goals because that's selfish. And I'm going to talk about all those things here in just a minute, but I'm telling you, like from my perspective, like when people come and people on our team ask us, like, what is the secret sauce? What is the thing that kept your business going after all of these years? And that is finding other people to do this with you. Because here's the thing: you need to do three things to get to diamond. Period. Like I'm gonna save your money on the book, the podcast, or whatever. Like just hear me out. You got to sign people up. You got to keep some of those people, and some of those people you keep, they need to do what you do. Bam, I just saved you like thousands of dollars, right? Thousands of dollars, right? Now, unfortunately, in those three areas, there's a thousand little things that are under each one of those umbrellas, okay? But literally that's what you have to do. And so we just kind of jumped ahead and said, well, let's go with number three first. Let's just talking about the opportunity, talking about the business. And then, of course, then we learned that you got to mix it up and talk about the products every once in a while, before and after pictures and all the things. So in 10 years, we were able to adopt three children internationally, all through Plexus. Those are cost around $30,000 to $35,000 a piece. We put in all nine of our children in private Christian school, which is more than my mortgage. My last year of pastoring, because I retired in 2020, but my last year of pastoring at a church I was at for 6 years before I retired, I was able to give back my salary. I didn't even take a salary. I never took a pay raise. I never do any of that because of what Plexus was doing. And so when I tell you like Plexus changed our lives, it's changed our lives. And we went from welfare then seeking the welfare of other people. It's been an amazing journey. But you didn't come here to listen to my story. You came here to learn something and to help your business move forward. So here's what I want to talk to you about today a little bit. And I usually have you do this exercise, but I'm not. I just for sake of time, I'm going to blow right through this. But when I was an adjunct professor, I've taught at about 7 or 8 different universities over my career. I have a master's degree in political science, international relations, and after all those years, I always did something with my classes, whether it was a freshman class or it was a graduate school class or whatever, and everybody in between. About second or third class in, what I would have the students do is I would have them write down and make a list. I give them 1 minute. I said, I want you to write down every positive, good thing that you like about yourself, like your gifts, your strengths, whatever. You thought I was asking them to go through oral surgery without anesthesia. I mean, it was just terrible. They're like, oh, Mr. Raney, oh, Mr. Raney, I can't believe it. This is terrible. I don't know. I don't know. They couldn't come up with it. Like, I mean, they may write two or three things down. And then right after, these are 19, 20, 21-year olds. Okay. They're young. I don't know about you, but I thought I was like invincible back then. So I don't know what's happened, but I thought I was invincible at 20. But then I would give them another minute and say, now I want you to write down every single thing that you would love to change about yourself that you don't like. And you could hear a pin drop. Why? Because everybody was writing. It is so much easier to see all the negative things about us because we take past experiences and the results of our activities and we let that define who we are. Maybe you went live once and nobody jumped on to watch you. So then we jump to the conclusion, I'm not good at going live. Maybe this month, maybe you woke up this morning and you saw that your points were down. You're like, I don't know how to do this. Now, disregard the fact that you're a senior gold. Disregard the fact that you've signed up all these people, that you earned a cruise, that you did all these things. We're not going to remember all the victories because today didn't look like we wanted it to look like. So we're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're going to just forget it. So these are the negative soundtracks that happen in our lives. So why do we feel hey, Ali, it's okay. This is a safe space. Like we all are there. We all get there, right? Okay. So why do we feel this way? And I can share my screen, but I'm not going to. I was going to share my screen today, show you these little slides. I might send them to Bridget later. But so here's what I want to talk to you about. Why do you feel the way that you feel? Why are you on this emotional roller coaster? And when you're winning in Plexus, you feel great. You have all the belief in the world. You know, you're like, man, I can do anything. When you're losing, you feel like you never want to say the P word again. Like you never want to talk about network marketing, take your pink drink and, you know, jump off a cliff. I don't want to hear about it anymore, right? So why is that? So what's happened is over the years, when you're growing up, when you're a kid, in your context, in your family, in your environment, in your community, There are different, what we like to call socialization factors. And we talk about this in sometimes in political science, psychology, and sociology. So, socialization factors, these are factors that are in our environments, in our nurture, and in our nature that impact the way we think and process. Okay. So I pick on people during these, so I apologize. If I pick on you, it's probably because you're smiling and I think you look nice. If I don't pick on you, might want to work on smiling. I'm just saying. But the thing is, like Liz, for instance, Liz, at least Liz is like, maybe Liz is somebody who like laughs at everybody's jokes and she just makes me feel like I'm really funny right now. So I appreciate that, Liz, whether regardless of if it is going well or not. I appreciate it. But if Liz was told once, this is a very superfluous example, but let's just say somebody told Liz at 17, she goes, "Well, you're not very organized. You're just a mess. You're not a very organized person." Well, if you're told that enough, you become an adult and you look at your to-do list, you look at your IPAs, you look at, oh, I need to reach out to these 10 people, I need to make my posts, I need to go live, I need to be my stories, I need to do all these things. And you go, but I'm just so scattered. I'm unorganized. Have you ever asked your question, why? I'm not good at live. Why? I'm not good at reach outs. Why? It's it's the most fundamental question we can ask. So going back to my story, and I'll get to socialization factors. Going back to my story, in 2020, we were sitting in a lovely little catamaran off of Maui at the Emerald Extravaganza, 2019, excuse me, 2019. And God spoke to me, not audibly, because if he did that, I think I would have a heart attack. But he did speak to me, right? He knows I'm not smart, so he knows I couldn't handle it. I'm not saying you haven't heard the voice of God, but he's not going to bless me with that because I'd probably jump over the ship at the time if I heard it. So, but he spoke to me. He said, "Hey, it's time to retire from pastoring." And I was like, "Why?" We are at the largest attendance we've ever had. We had baptized 100 people that year. Our budget was up 300%. I mean, if anything could be, I mean, there was nothing going wrong. Nothing was on fire. Everything was wonderful. I loved my church. Church loved me, loved my family. Everything was great. And God's like, yeah, and I need you to give that up. I have something else for you. So we came back and I retired. And the elders really didn't put up a fight, which makes me think that they were, no, I'm just kidding. They're like, yo, no, we get it. We trust you or whatever. That's fine. So I retired, but I kind of found myself kind of in that midlife crisis where I was like, okay, well, what do I do now with my life? And God revealed, because you're going to take what you learned as a pastor and what you've learned as a network marketer, you're going to combine these two. And so we began to process what this looked like, and we created the Anthem Network. The Anthem Network is a paid group that you can join, and it helps navigate your faith in your business. But while we were doing this, while we kind of just started this up and started helping people who had all these questions, I had a couple of people reach out to me and go, "Hey, do you do coaching?" And I was like, well, no, I'm not going to be one of those. I'm not going to be one of those diamonds who go and become a coach. Like, I'm just not going to do it. I told him, I know, right? Seriously. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, not that it was above me. I thought, not that I was above it. I felt like it was above me. I was like, no one's going to want to hear from me. No, my team barely wants to hear from me. Why don't they? So I began to, people kept reaching out. So I began to coach. And what I realized is that most people who came into coaching, and right now I have about 32 people I coach right now that are outside of my team. And what I realize is most people come in, they don't need me to tell them what IPAs to do. Like today, if Reba says, I need IPAs, I need the secret sauce, I need the secret sauce, my business isn't going anywhere. I promise you, within 5 minutes, she could self-diagnose why her business isn't moving forward. She could, absolutely, because you all can. You all know what you're avoiding. You all know what you're not doing. You all know where your comfort zone is. And if you get out of that comfort zone and become uncomfortable, that's where growth happens, but it's uncomfortable. And by human default, we want to be comfortable. So what I realized while I was coaching is that people didn't need IPA. They needed to find the root and the source of these mental blocks that they were having. And most of them came through socialization factors. And the second thing they needed is they needed to find business builders. And I decided I'm going to be an expert in helping people find business builders. So I literally have built a whole different stream of income of coaching based on helping people find business builders. And that's all we talk about. So when people come in for coaching and they come for a discovery call, we have a discovery call. I get to know each other. We hear your story. I hear your story or whatever. And they say, yeah, I just need IPA. I need what to post. I need scripts. I'm like, hey, I'm not for you. And I point them to other people. I'm like, hey, Brooke Hemingway has a line. She's amazing. Hey, Emily Gibson's over here. She's amazing. Hey, these people over here, they're amazing. I was like, that's not my thing. That's not my shtick. Because what I found is when people are around the gold, senior gold, they hit that ceiling. They hit that ceiling, right? And they don't know what's wrong. And they think it's an IPA problem. It's not. It's a duplication problem. It's a leadership problem. It's something that we need to go out of our comfort zone and go find someone like you, not someone you're dragging along, not someone that you're convincing, not someone that you're begging, not someone that it's someone who goes, hey, I'm chasing you, Christine. I'm chasing you, Michelle. I want to do what you do. Help me figure out what you do. And so that's what we worked on. And as we're talking and as I'm learning, I'm realizing these socialization factors are so pivotal in the beginning of our conversation. So, what do you think? I'm curious. You can put it in the chat. You seem like chat people. I don't know. You don't seem like unmute and talk people, which is really funny, Bridget being your leader, because that's kind of funny because she's a very quiet person. So I'm just kidding. So here's the thing. You can unmute or put in chat. What are things you think that influence your thoughts? What are some socialization factors you think that influence your thoughts? Like if you want to put it in a voting context, like this last election, what do you think affects people in voting or thinking or processing? What are some things? Anybody? Past performance. Okay. Past performance, our activity. Sure. Fear. Okay. What about education? Okay. If you went to college versus someone who didn't, you're going to probably process things differently because you had experiences they didn't. If you grew up, what about location? If you grew up in South Boston versus South Texas, you're probably going to process things a little bit different, right? If you grew up in a faith household versus a non-faith household, you're going to process things a little bit different. If you've had experiences, right, that maybe someone else wouldn't have had, it's like positive or negative experiences, they make impressions on our mindset. Of course, we have mindset. I mean, excuse me, we have the media, we have our family. You know, that's one of the big factors, socialization factors in my life, was that I was taught that if you make too much money, you're too good for your family. Anybody? Ooh, well, look who's all uppity up going to Hawaii. You think you're too good. Like it was almost frowned upon, right? If you made any sort of income that was what you considered above your status. So I had to when I earned our Lexus, when we got a Lexus and I was a pastor, I wouldn't drive it to church for 6 months because I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that we had this car, right? It was crazy, right? That's crazy. But that's one of the socialization factors that were influencing the way I think. So you're thinking, okay, Kyle, great. We get it. We're impacted. We're robots. People influence us. We're influenced. How do we break this? What was the point? Why are we talking about this? How does this go to our business? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. Because if we have these socialization factors, they turn into soundtracks or feedback loops that play on repeat in our heads time and time and time again. That's why whenever you say, like, I love Enneagram, but can I tell you, the Enneagram is not the gospel, all right? It's a wonderful tool. I love the Enneagram. I'm an Enneagram 8. Anybody, do y'all do Enneagram here? Do y'all know what I'm talking when I say 8, you know? So I'm an 8. I'm pretty blunt. I'm a challenger. Um, I ask why all the time, which kind of makes me perfect for being a coach because you're coming here with your problems and I go, why do you feel that way? Why do you think that way? And then you realize, why do I need this joker? I just need to ask myself why. So that's the beautiful thing about it. But here's the thing. Whenever we have these negative soundtracks, it creates mindsets. See, mindsets don't just come from anywhere. So we talk about, oh, we have a comparison mindset, or we are imposter syndrome, or we're fear of failure, fear of success, which is a crazy mindset. I wish I had time to talk about today, right? Where did those come from? See, we think we just adopted those along the way. Like, oh, it's just supposed to be in my DNA, it must be my checks. No, no, that's not how God made you. Some socialization factors played in part in your life, created a soundtrack, and now you have it on repeat on the feedback loop. How many of you said out loud or in your mind, I just can't keep anybody? My retention's terrible. I can't keep anybody. Have you ever asked why? Why can't I keep anybody? Who says? Why can't you keep people? So what we'll do is we'll run to this strategy and we'll run to that strategy. And it doesn't even look like us, sound like us, act like us, talk like us, not in our voice. But instead of just pausing and going, okay, why is that happening? And oftentimes we'll do because I'm not doing customer care. Well, why am I not doing customer care? Because I just don't have time. Maybe, maybe. We sure had time to watch all 28 seasons of The Bachelorette, but maybe, oop, I see some conviction. Maybe, right? I'm not gonna lie, dude. Golden Bachelor is hilarious to me. It's like watching your grandpa go on dates. It's amazing. Anyway, but here's the thing. And after you're gonna go Google what Golden Bachelor is. It's incredible. So here's the thing. Maybe it is a time situation to this scenario. Maybe your attention's not good because you don't have time to do customer care. Maybe. Or are we avoiding? Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't like doing it. Why? Why are you avoiding? Well, because I'm not good at it. Why? See, can't you say I'm an annoying coach? It's so annoying, right? I'm like, why? Why are you not good at it? And then really what it comes down to often is I'm afraid to do customer care because I'm afraid of what my customer is going to say. I'm afraid that they are not having a good experience on these products. I'm afraid they think I'm all about the money. I'm afraid to get negative feedback because I take that personal and I feel like I've let them down. Hey, man, I love that. When you get to that point, then we have places to work from. Because here's the thing, just in this scenario, if we keep with this example, those fears, 99.9% of the time will never be realized. That's not what they're thinking at all. It's not what they're thinking at all. In fact, they're kind of hoping you'll ask because they don't know what their body's doing right now on these products. And they need an expert like you to tell them, hey, it's okay. It's called detox. It's no big deal. Drink some water. It's going to be fine, or whatever. But the thing is, why then do we not do it? Why are we scared? Because we have this filter, this soundtrack, this feedback loop that keeps going in our mind and says, man, I'm not good at customer care because I'm really worried they're going to have a negative response. And that means I'm not a good person. That means I'm not a good ambassador. That means I've sold them a bag of goods. It's a bait and switch. And we build these crazy scenarios because somewhere down the road, someone built into us a socialization factor that we have yet to identify. And it drives us crazy and puts our business nowhere. So here's some mindsets, okay, to watch out for if this is you, okay? The first mindset, if you have a negative soundtrack, now there's like 30 I could go through today, and Bridget said I have 4 hours, so buckle up. Here we go. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just picked out three for you today, okay? The first one is a poverty mindset. This is a big one, especially, and I heard Bridget talk about her faith, and I don't know, I'm not assuming all of you are people of faith, but it seems like Bridget's pretty open about talking about her faith on this call, so I feel encouraged to do this if that's okay. Okay. Poverty mindset happens oftentimes with people of faith who are in network marketing because they've never been taught correctly what money is about, right? They don't know how to do money. They don't know how to talk about money, how to process money. They don't know biblical references to money. All they know is money corrupts. That's all they think about. Well, money corrupts. Or, you know, Lou, Lou Kroll, is this your daughter? Yes, that's amazing. What up, Lou? That's an awesome name, by the way. I'm sure it's short for something. But so if Lou grows up, especially at her age, if she grows up thinking money is a negative thing, then it steals all ambition, all and drive because she says money is. But here's the thing: as a pastor for 16 years, guess what we always needed in our churches? Money. Oh, but the Lord can provide. Yeah, He did. Because I had to ask the people in the congregation, I need your money so we can go and reach more people for the Jesus. Okay. That's what we had to do. So here's the thing. If we don't talk about money, if we have a bad idea of money, we'll have a poverty mindset. So here's the thing. Like, but Kyle, I am struggling with this because I grew up in a church like this, or I grew up with this mindset and my parents downplayed money. Okay, cool. What are your motivations? Like if I was to have, is it Mara Lisa? Is that right? Did I get that right? Yeah. If I had Mara Lisa unmute right now, and I won't make you do it. I won't pick on you because you seem really nice. And she's like, I don't care. Bring it. Bring it. But here's the thing. If I was to have you unmute and I asked you, what is your why? Why are you in Plexus? Go ahead, unmute. Tell me what's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? See, you set yourself up. You shouldn't have said yes.
Yeah, no problem. Um, my newest why is to free up my husband
Awesome.
from the job
Love
that
it.
he's in right now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's great. Awesome. Love it. Lucky man. Here's the thing. If I was to ask all of you, you would probably say things similar to Mary Lisa. Yeah. Get out of debt, provide for our kids, put them in private school, buy a home, adopt, whatever. All those motivations, what are they? Well, they're righteous motivations. So when our motivation aligns with God's mission, We can freely talk about money. We can freely find success. We can freely be driven and hustle and go after goals because we know the motivations are good. Now, if Mary Lisa would say, "Well, my biggest why is to have my third house in Tahiti," I'd be like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's take a step back. I mean, cool, good for you. That's awesome. But it may be where you're getting the hang up on money because you're seeing money as an object to happiness, and it's not. So let's talk about that a little bit. But here's the thing. So poverty mindset is a huge mindset that is connected to a negative feedback loop that we often have in a soundtrack that's in our mind. And so we have to address it. Why do we see money as a negative thing? It's not money that's evil, it's the love of money, right? That gets us caught up. And so if we see money as a tool, by the way, oh, can I chase a rabbit real quick, Bridget? Can I chase a little bit of rabbit? Here's a little bit of rabbit. By the way, for all of you of faith, your business is not your ministry. I'm sorry. I wish it was. It's not. Your business funds and fuels your ministry. Now, it's not that you can't use your faith and ministry practices in running your business. It's not that you don't see your team as people that you can disciple and people that you can care for and love. And I just totally knocked over my tire, Peter. It's not that you can't do that. It's just a matter of this, that your business, right? We have to think like an entrepreneur. We have to think because God needs kingdom-minded entrepreneurs chasing after big, scary goals in order to make huge impacts and have bigger platforms for the sake of Jesus. I'm telling you, friends, that's what it is. So your business funds your ministry, right? Okay, so I chased that rabbit. I'm not going to chase that any longer. The second one that we find a lot of times in my coaching is an apathy mindset. An apathy mindset. And you're like, well, I'm not apathetic. Have you ever had this thought? Well, if it happens, it happens. Aren't you pushing for Ruby? Yeah, if it happens, it happens. Aren't you running for the cruise? Yeah, if it happens, it happens. Why do we say those things? Why would we ever feel that way? Because it's an out. It's an out. Because if I have that kind of mentality, right, and I don't hit my goal, I don't lose any face because I wasn't expecting to hit it anyway. Apathy will kill. You know what apathy does? It creates doubt. Okay. And doubt is the most wasted emotion you can ever feel. Did y'all know that? See, this is free. I'm not even going to charge Bridget for this one. Doubt is the most wasted emotion you could ever feel. Okay. Think of a car, right? The car goes in drive, it goes in reverse, and it goes in neutral. If you're going in park, if you're in park, that means you're meditating. Where's God want me to go? Where do I want to head? Where's the journey ahead? Let me map this thing out. If in reverse, like, oh, wrong direction, got to back it up, course correct so we can get to where we need to go. Drive, you're moving forward. You know where you're at neutral? Nowhere. Pushing all the brakes, pushing the gas, going nowhere. That's doubt. Doubt is dumb. And I just coined that hashtag Raney. Doubt is dumb. It is. It's worthless. Anyway, apathy is a mindset that comes connected to a socialization factor, a soundtrack. If it happens, it happens. And here's the thing. A lot of times we like to say, well, I'm not going to go, I'm going to step on some toes here, but here we go. I'm not going to go all in because I'm not that kind of girl. I don't get all the hype for the prizes and the carrots. I'm here to serve people. I'm here to love people. Cool, but don't let your spirituality and your good-natured heart derail you from goals that can transform people's lives. If it happens, it happens. My friend, there's no diamond that woke up. Bridget Kroll did not wake up one morning, diamond, and go, hey, it happened. That's crazy. Didn't see that coming. In coaching, I have swear words you're not allowed to say. Luck, fate, serendipity, chance. If you say the word lucky, you might as well just drop a four-letter F-bomb on me in coaching because it's a swear word because it's not true. It's not real. And it'll kill your mindset. It'll kill your business and it'll put you in apathy. If it happens, it happens. Okay. Next mindset that I wanted to tell you about is the acceptance mindset. This is a big one, right? This is an big one. Well, that's just the way it is. And that's just who I am. Can I not tell you how many times people have gone in coaching with me and they go, well, I'm just not a leader. And I go, why? I've had Ruby and Senior Ruby and Emerald Ambassadors get on coaching with me and tell me they are not leaders. Because someone in their upline, someone in their life, someone in their family, someone in their household said they weren't. some jaded team member who left for another company told them you're the worst leader I've ever had, and they believe it. It's a soundtrack. It's a feedback loop. It is a socialization factor that is shaping who they think they are, and they disregard every single victory and every single milestone of leadership they've ever achieved in Plexus. Why do we do that? Why do we have an acceptance mindset? Because we are placing our value and our worth, right? We're equating those things with the outcome of our activity. Oh man, I want to chase another rabbit. Just give me a minute. I promise I'll be quick. I know you all got lives to live. I'm sorry. I get so excited about these things. I love doing this. All right. Okay. So think of it like think of your belief as a lake. I know it's weird, right? But stick with me, all right? You've gotten this far. You can keep going, all right? If those in the car, keep driving. It's okay. Don't get in a wreck. But the thing is, if it's a lake, right? And to feed this lake, right, you have to have these streams, okay? So we call them streams of belief, all right? So if the only streams feeding your belief are points, recognition, and income and success, like I sponsored X amount of people or whatever, what happens the months when those dry up? Well, your belief dries up. So how do we fight this? We add more streams. Now you're gonna want me to you're gonna want me to tell you those aren't good streams of oh dude, are you kidding me? Let's just be logical. Dude, when I'm winning, when my points are up, when I've signed 3 people this month, and I'm like, this is a pretty good month for Cassie and I right now. And I'm like, dude, my belief's high. By the way, that's okay. It's okay to be excited because you kick butt and take names. Like it's okay, right? It's okay. By the way, it is not pride when Bridget shouts you out for ranking up and you feel good about it. Like it's okay to feel good about it. All right. That's a great stream of belief. However, there are going to be months when those streams dry up. So what do? Well, we connect vision. We connect our why. We connect our purpose. We look at people in our household and realize what we're working for. We connect all these different factors into our streams of belief. So when those months that are down and points are down and I'm not ranking up and I'm not hitting the incentive and I'm not earning the trip or whatever the thing is, we look at it as okay, that's okay because I have a long-term vision. I have a long-term purpose. I'm in it for the long haul. And I am worth showing up for. My kids are worth showing up for. My dreams and goals, my calling is worth showing up for. And so when we pour those other streams, guess what? December was an awful month for me. Awful, terrible, terrible month. One of the worst months I've had in a long time. Okay. This is just me really being really vulnerable, right? Some of you are like, well, why are you coaching? Things, but because it's just being real. Like it happens, right? Did I dismiss 10 years of good months? Well, how can I do that? Because I have other streams pouring into my belief other than just points. Like my value is not found in my back office. Okay. You know what your back office is? And by the way, don't be scared of your back office. Your back office are just indicators and waypoints showing that you're in the right direction or you need to course correct. That's it. It's just data. It's just data. Okay. So you want to get off that roller coaster of emotions each from month to month? Are you ready to get off that roller coaster on the 28th when you wake up and you're like, yay, or oh, I hate life. Like whatever. Add more streams to your belief. Now, I'm not asking you to pull yourself from the bootstraps and go, it's okay. I lost, 300 points. No big deal. I'm not saying that. Man, I wish I had more time. But it's okay not to be okay, right? It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay not to have the most sound mindset in the world. I'm so amazing. I'm so awesome, whatever. It's okay not to be okay. We just don't want to stay there. So God can handle you being upset for like a whole 5 minutes, and then you get back on the horse and you keep going because someone is waiting for you to show up. Someone is waiting for their lives to be transformed for you showing up, not because you've been derailed, because you lost a couple of points. You didn't have great retention or you missed a trip. Like, what if on the 28th and you realize you're not going to hit the leaders retreat trip, the Bahamas trip? Like, what if you decided not to keep going and then you miss out on your first jewel that you'll ever have because you didn't post those 3 days? Like, what are we doing? Why are we in this? Why are you in this? Where are those streams of belief coming from? Because look, can I be honest with you? If you're just chasing trips, wrong company, wrong industry, you're going to be miserable. Like, I don't care about carrots anymore. Give me the stick, man. Give me the stick. All right. I like the pressure. I like that. Hey, I want to pay for my kid. I got 9 kids going to college. I need to learn how to figure out how to pay for this thing. People go, oh man, you must have reached all your dreams as a diamond, and your wife's a diamond, and now you have this successful coaching business. You must reach all their dreams. I'm like, I have 9 kids, college tuitions to pay for. No, no, no. I need, hey, by the way, anybody wants to come coach with me, let's talk afterwards because I still need to make some. We got to pay for these kids' college. So, but that's just it. That's the streams of belief, right? So, okay, chase that rabbit. All right. So don't get an acceptance mindset. That is just the way it is. That's just who I am. No, it's not. That's not what God did. He didn't have Rachel when Rachel was born, he was like, Rachel, you're not going to be good at keeping people and retention and network marketing as a baby. Like he didn't give her that gift, right? So just stop it. Just because you didn't perform as well as you didn't want to perform doesn't mean that's the way it is. And by the way, you can change today. You can change today. You're the greatest asset and the greatest hindrance to your business. And by the way, you are the main asset for Plexus. Did you know that? You're the most valuable commodity Plexus has. We're not in Walmart. We're not in Target. We don't have commercials. We don't run ads. You are the mouthpiece of our products, of our opportunity, of our company. You're the greatest asset and commodity they have. All right, last one. You ready? I try to put ones that kind of flow together. Another one is conditional mindset, and we've been talking about the whole time, so I'll just briefly do a minute, and then if it's okay, we'll lose the last couple of minutes here for the hour. I'll do a little Q&A, and if you want. Here's a conditional mindset. Let me put it in faith context. Okay, your relationship with God is based on a covenant and not a contract, but oftentimes we base it on a contract. When I was a pastor, the number one thing that I dealt with for 16 years, the people in my congregation, they would come up to me and go, but I did all these things and God still has not done this. Because here's the thing, we messed it all up. Somewhere along the lines, we mess it all up. I don't know if it's bad preaching, bad church culture, or whatever, Christian culture in general. We mess it all up. We thought, oh, I need to perform, I need to do good, so God will love me and accept me. But when we read the Bible, it's the exact opposite. We're accepted, even at our lowest point, through our faith in Jesus, so that we'll know what to do that is good, so that we'll know how to perform. See, performance does not garner God's love. It's God's love helps us with our performance. Okay. So we're not in a contract relationship with God because in a contract relationship, that's two parties that bring equal value, right, to a agreement. And if one doesn't hold up their end of the bargain, the contract's broken. But how often do we use that with God, right? By the way, newsflash, you brought nothing to the table, right? You brought your sin. You brought all the faults that you have, and he brought everything. So just by the way, it's a very unfair contract, if a contract at all. Okay. But we're in a covenant, we're in a promise. So how does that apply to our business and these socialization factors? Well, a lot of you are contractually running your business as a contractor and not as an entrepreneur. Here's what I mean. March is coming. And we all know if you've been in Plexus for a minute, you know March is Super Bowl month. Not really, not literally, but it's our Super Bowl month, right? It's the big month. You see a lot of rank ups, kind of dictates our whole entire year. I bet you'll be very entrepreneurial during that month. What about February? Why not February? So we're only all in, we're only showing up, we're only going to be consistent, we're only going to be driven, we're only going to hustle, we're only going to be ambitious when it benefits us. That's a contract. That's contractual labor. Oh, sorry, Bridget, I'm out. Bad month. See ya. This is hard. 3-day challenge, messenger event, opportunity event in person. I'm out. Bye, Bridget. I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm done. That's contractual, right? Well, why do we get in contracts? Okay. Why do we get into that mindset? Okay. Because in a weird way, we kind of think our business works like karma. If I'm a good person, I do good in the world, then I'm going to get all these people. And by the way, there's a really dangerous theology that a lot of talking heads and network marketing are using right now. That is, if you love Jesus a whole lot, your business can be successful, you get all the money, kingdom mindset, blah, 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 blah. No, friend, that's called prosperity gospel, and it's heresy. And we have a Greek word for it called baloney. Okay, so that's what it is, right? That's what it is. That's ridiculous, right? That is ridiculous. Look at all the 12 disciples. They all followed Jesus. Jesus was a terrible retirement program. because they were all martyred for their faith. Like it was awful. So it's not about us loving Jesus so much, right? That our businesses will be so blessed. Now, does he bless our business? Yes. Does he go before us? Do we believe in sovereignty? Absolutely. But just make sure you're not in that contractual obligation that leads to prosperity. By the way, if any, you're like, well, how do I identify this? If anybody says you can manifest your rank, you need to run the opposite direction. Okay. All right. The only manifesting thing you're going to do is a headache there. Okay. So just run the opposite direction. All right. It takes prayer, it takes faith, it takes dedication to the Lord, and it takes a lot of hard work. Big dreams equal big efforts. All right. So those are just the mindsets that we get trapped in sometimes with these negative soundtracks. I've been talking a lot. I'm going to give you a chance to ask some questions. It doesn't have to be about anything that I talked about. It can be about anything or anything at all. I don't care. Whatever it is, it's fine. So just feel free to unmute and ask away. If you don't ask anything, I'll make fun of you later to the people I coach and said, I was on this team and all these people came and nobody asked a question. They think they know everything. No, I won't do that. I promise. But actually, y'all been really engaging. Like y'all have some really, it's a fun group. This is a fun group. Like you're just smiling, you're laughing. You can tell you're happy people.
Kyle, I have a question for
Yeah.
you.
Shoot, Jessica.
Being a very direct person yourself, I can tell. How do you coach people, your customers, when it's just constant excuse after excuse of why they can't take the products or why they didn't jump on the call or do the thing that I have one person's like, I desperately need the money. And every single time it's like, oh, I had to chop vegetables. Oh, I had to do XYZ. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, then you don't want it. But I don't want to be so harsh where I am
No,
rude.
yeah, it's fine. No,
You
it's a
know,
great question. It's a great question. So the first time may be a mistake. The second time may be a distraction. The third time you're dragging. And I don't drag. I'm 43 years old. I don't have time. Love them. Hope one day they'll come to the realization. But here's what happens, especially when you're like, I don't know what your rank is, but when you're in the gold, senior gold, ruby type kind of era, and I don't know where you're at. You could be, a triple diamond. I just don't, we haven't met yet, whatever. But when you're in that era of building to diamond, we kind of get desperate, right? And if someone shows a little bit of interest, we're like, ooh, potential. They have potential. Potential does not equal paychecks. Okay. But Bridget, I can't let them go. I'm going to give them another chance. Isn't this the 52nd chance you give them? Yeah, but this time it's really going to work out. No, it's not going to because they're not ready, and that's okay. So you don't have to be blunt, tell them, hey, sorry, Sarah, you're out, whatever. All you have to be is like, hey, that's awesome. I'm here for you. Whenever you're ready to jump in, I'm all on board with you as well. Here's some opportunities I'll keep you informed in. Go with God. I mean, honestly, because I don't drag. Like I said, first time could be a coincidence. Maybe something came up. Second time, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe they got busy chopping vegetables, whatever. Third time, no. I'm dragging now. I don't, I should not have to convince someone to run after their dreams. Yeah. It's a great question. And the reason why we get set in this mindset is because often, and I'm not saying this is where you're at, but so many times we battle this because we have so few of these conversations usually going on of people who are interested that we keep going with the conversation, even though we know in our mind, this is dead. This isn't going anywhere. They're not ready. They're not ready. So it's okay. What I'd rather do is take my energy and go put out more messages and go put out more posts and go find more people than deal with someone who showed a little bit of interest, but I'm going to have to drag. So I hope that makes sense. So it's hard. It's hard too, because as believers, sometimes we're kind of like, and I'm not assuming you are, but if you are, like, it's hard sometimes because you're like, but I want it for them. I love that. I love that you love them and I love that you want to serve them, but it's not serving you. And it's not, and it's holding you back from reaching someone who really wants it. Great question.
I have to share this. It just still makes me laugh so hard. I had someone tell me she had numerous excuses of why, like, she wasn't working, wasn't showing up. And one day she said, I couldn't come to the team call because because my husband has diarrhea. And so I told my husband, my husband was like, oh, did she show up? And I was like, no, her husband has diarrhea. And he goes, what's she doing? Wiping his butt? And I'm like, oh,
Hey, sometimes some of us need a
so
little bit more
hard about that.
attention than others. So just, who knows? Maybe he missed that potty training situation when he was growing up. You just never know the situation. So, but
But
yeah,
it's hard. It is hard
if you can't drag her away from diarrhea, then you probably can't drag her away with anything else. So just,
but using that extra mental and emotional energy that it
yeah,
frees up to go bless other
100%.
people. Huge.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we go just, and I'd love to get another question in, but like just on the same note, all I have to do is look at my kids and realize I don't need to drag. My kids need me to go and be fierce and go hunting for people who want to do this with me. Because when you're in, I'm all in too. All in. Like you have all of it. Like today, preparing for today. So I have a life. I have my Cassie and I have a mantra, a vision for our lives. It's to do the most good for the most other people while God has us here on this earth. And so Bridget asking me to come on today, what she doesn't know is this is super selfish for me to say to yes, because it's fulfilling my purpose. My purpose is to do the most good for the most amount of people while I'm here on this earth. And to me, I love coming on team calls. I love training. I love talking. I love pouring into you. I love it. But here's the thing. People who come and ask, hey, can I coach with you? I'm like, awesome. Let's go do a discovery call. And they're kind of like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, I'm probably not for you because I'm going to bring everything to a coaching call. I'm bringing everything, all the things that I've experienced, what little wisdom I may have. I'm bringing it all. And if you're not bringing the same energy, then I'm kind of wasting your time, right? So, okay, Christine, I think you had a question.
Sorry, I did. So I have a question. As you're talking about leading with the business, I feel that, yes, I'm a senior gold and I have been here because I know I need more opportunities to offer that.
Yeah.
You can't say the wrong thing to the right person, but honestly, how do you present the opportunity to people you're like, oh my gosh, I know this would be great? That's selfishly. Yeah.
So a couple of things. Number one, you need to become a really good storyteller. The biggest thing that helped me in getting people on my team and working the business is storytelling. Story Brand by Don Miller. Go read it tomorrow. It has to be on your list. It's an old book, but a good one. It's not a network marketing book, and I know it's not probably as flashy as 10x is greater than 2x and all the whatever the latest hype book is right now. Also Chasing the Lion by Mark Batterson, another good one. But anyway, just that's not about storytelling, but it's really good. It's what I'm reading right now. So here's the thing: posting publicly about the opportunity and versus messaging. So there's two different approaches. For me, when I'm posting, I'm hitting the pain points. Okay. So I am a dad of many kids and I have special needs children. I'm an adoptive dad. And so I'm going to hit the pain points of a dad, right? And by the way, it's funny. I'm not posting on Facebook anymore. If you go to my Facebook, you'll notice like I don't really put. I'm on Instagram now. I'm growing my business completely solely on Instagram. I wish I could do a whole training on that, but we don't have time today. But so anyway, as I'm posting, I'm in store. So let me ask you what sounds better. We were broke. I found Plexus, and now we're not broke. So that's an advertisement, right? But we don't want an advertisement. We want a story versus I'll never forget the day that we pulled up to a grocery store and my son, who was 7 years old at the time, pulled out 50 cents, two little quarters from his little pocket and said, Dad, I heard you and Mom talking about money and how we don't have any to buy a lot of groceries. Here, take this. Maybe this will help. Now, that's a true story, right? And they don't always have to be so dramatic and so hallmarky, whatever. But that actually happened. So then I would weave into, then we found Plexus, and this is what our life looks like now, and this is what our vision is now to help you those. So here's what I've done. People can read, he had no money. Well, I have no money, and now he has money. Well, that seems unobtainable. Versus hearing the story, putting themselves in that position, and then what we want them to do is them be the hero and make the decision to join you. So we got to make it about them and giving them scenarios they can relate to, pain points. So if you're a mom in your 30s, what are their pain points? What are the things that they struggle with? Is it time with the kids? Is it debt? Is it whatever? I mean, then talk about those things. And you don't have to have a huge financial testimony to get people to come on board, by the way. You can just talk about what you would like to see happen and asking who else wants the same. We call it the power of the invitation. Every single post you make about the opportunity, invite them to join you, not invite them to be sponsored by you. Mentorship, that's a big word right now. Love that word right now. So mentored by you, but ask them to join the power. Everybody likes to be invited to a party. Everybody likes to be invited to a situation and journey. Power of invitation. I can't tell you how many posts I see about the opportunity and you give them nothing to do at the end. They don't know where to go with it. So power of invitation. Now, when it comes to messaging, okay, now this is pretty controversial, because people are like, don't do cold messages. And some people are like, you need to do 50 cold messages a day or whatever. Okay. So I don't want to be the hey girl person. Okay, whatever. Okay, that's fine. I don't care whatever you do. But if you're messaging, right, if you have liked, commented, or viewed one of my stories or post, you just gave me a green light to message you. But I don't want this opportunity. Well, then stop looking at my stuff, man. Okay. No, I don't say that. But if Larissa likes my post but doesn't comment, I'm like, hey, Larissa, thank you so much for supporting my post. Man, I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about the opportunity that I have found with Plexus. Here, sometimes I have 15-minute intervals on Zoom. Pick one that works for you. Let's jump on it, and I can tell you how this has changed my life and how I think it changed yours as well. Okay. I don't give any open-ended suggestions. What do you think? Does that sound good? Of course it doesn't sound good to them. They weren't thinking about it earlier, right? You just messaged them out of nowhere. No, it doesn't sound good to them, right? But you're like, well, how often does that work? Well, think of it like this. If I shoot 100 messages, 10 people are going to be customers. One of the 100 are probably going to be a bill. So you got to ask yourself a question. Am I willing to send out 100 messages? I don't have time. 5 a day, 3 a day, 2 a day. I don't care, whatever. Or none a day and go attractional marketing and have people pursue you. See, there's all these different strategies we can do. Okay. There's all these different things we can do. But to answer your question, I like to use story. I like to go, and if I know the person, so let's say, Christine, I knew you. Like we have a somewhat relationship outside of social media, right? Same town or, went to school together or something like that. Like we've interacted like once in the last 10 years. I would say, man, Christine, this is what use all of you, if you have a potential right now that you've been avoiding messaging, do this today. This is what you're going to do today. Hey, Christine, I was on a call today and I heard this really ravagingly good looking man show up and talk. No, you don't have to put that part, but you just have to. I heard this guy who'd been in network marketing for 10 years and he described what the perfect teammate would be. And I just couldn't stop thinking he was describing you. And so it prompted me to want to reach out to you and ask, is there any way? And I know it's crazy and I know this is out of nowhere, but man, I just couldn't get you out of my head. God kept putting you there when he was talking. And I just want to see, can we jump on a Zoom real quick? Here are the times I'm available. Tell me which one works for you. I cannot wait to talk to you. Because what you've done is you said, hey, someone said something positive and described a positive person, a driven person. And so I'm now going to give you a compliment, a genuine compliment. It's a good compliment, but you're pouring value into them before they even know what you want, right? And you're saying, this is what I see in you. And you truly got to mean it, by the way. You can't just pick some rando, right? But you got to mean it, right? If you've never met Gabby before, be like, hey, what up, Gabby? I know we were in second grade together. I haven't talked in 28 years, but here's the thing. I thought if you did it. No, you didn't. Gabby knows you didn't, right? But the thing is, take that person that you have, that you, I don't care. Maybe they're a customer right now and you're just too scared to ask them to do the opportunity. Just like, man, I couldn't get him out of my mind. I couldn't get you out of my mind. He was talking and he just describing you. Someone who is kind, someone who serves people, who is ambitious, who has big goals and dreams, who loves their family well, who loves people well. I just kept coming back to the fact they are describing Allie. And I want Allie on my team. You know, I want Nyla, I want Jessica on my team. I want Jennifer on my team. Like, and I just wanted to see if I could talk to you a little bit. And I'll be honest with you, you'll send 10 of those and maybe 2 or 3 will respond. Man, 2 or 3 of those that respond. Can you imagine having 3 new business builders by next month? Like, we'll all sign up for that, right? But then some of you are going, and this goes back to what we were talking about. Well, I'm not good at cold messages. I'm not good at messaging. Why? Well, because I failed. Dude, we all fail. Like think of the statistics. 100 messages, 1 builder. Okay, so look, you're gonna get 99 no's. Now, look, is that a true statistic? I mean, that's thrown around all the time in direct sales, all the time. That's a statistic. I don't know if it's a true statistic. I don't think I've sent out 100 messages and get that many no's. You'll probably have a little bit better statistic than that, but that's just it. That's the reality of it all. Is that are we willing to do that? Are you willing to show up? And if you think you're not good at messages because you weren't successful in the past, that just means you haven't done it long enough. The best advice I was given to me by my upline, Chris McCall, who's an Emerald ambassador that live in Oklahoma, he said, Kyle, I was a gold ambassador. He was an Emerald. He goes, the only difference between me and you is time and consistency. He was absolutely right. Great question. I hope I answered it. I don't know if I did. Sorry. All right. Okay, gang. Well, it's over an hour, so I need to let you go because you got lives to live and people to talk to and people to message. But I do want to say one last thing, Bridget, if that's okay with you. Here's the thing. I know that you may have come on this call. Some of you came in limping, some came in rejoicing, and everyone in between. It's fine. Like, I totally get it. But here's the thing. I can tell you without any doubt in my mind. I only go and do team calls for people and leaders who talk good behind their people's back. And Bridget is on the Mount Rushmore of people who do that. Because you're not at an Emerald Extravaganza. You're not at Diamond Destination. You're not at some of these situations that her and I and my wife and her husband get to be at. And when it says, hey, how are you doing? Dude, let me tell you about Liz. Let me tell you about, and she just goes on and on and on about how amazing her people are, how amazing her team are. And even if you're going through a rough season and points are down, she still just praises you because she loves you and cares about you. That's the kind of leader I want to be with. That's the kind of leader I want to follow. So that's why I come on these calls. That's why I try to bring my best because of my respect for Bridget, who will sit there with no benefit to her by telling me how awesome you are. Quite frankly, I don't care. No, I'm kidding. I do care. But the thing is, it doesn't benefit me. She's not bragging about herself. And look at my amazing team. We're rocking and rolling. She just wants to talk about you. So why do I say that? Because you're on the right team, in the right company, in the right season, at the right time for a season and a time such as this. And I truly believe that. You're not here by accident. You're not here by luck. Remember, that's a swear word. And I know for a fact that God is going to do amazing things through you and that you're in the exact right place. I know that you may not feel that you have all the tools you need, but sometimes it really is just getting down to those soundtracks, getting down to those socialization factors, those negative feedback loops that continue to wrap around your mind, and stop attaching your activity to, your value to the outcome of your activity. Put some more strings of belief in, and you're going to be just fine. So I can't wait for Bridget to update me all the wonderful things that you guys are doing. Bridget, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry for talking so long, but there we go.
I have nothing to say other than that was exactly what I believe all of us needed to hear. I've been in contact with a lot of these ladies, and just know, before we get on these calls, and you guys know this, I just pray. I'm like, Lord, speak to their hearts. Kyle was like, what would you like me to train on? Usually I tell people, I'm like, this is what I feel like my team really needs to hear from somebody other than me. This time I was like, what you're feeling most passionate about right now and what God is leading you to share. And you guys, the fact that we're on here, it's been an hour and 10 minutes. Kyle, thank you for your time. Thank you all for your time. The fact that
Yeah,
we're on
absolutely.
here
Way to
with
show up
cameras.
today.
I mean, so thank you. Thank you. Please send me more information too about your coaching business. I want to be able to put that out to our team and on our business team page. You are a true treasure. So blessed by you. You guys unmute and just say thank you because that's all I got.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle, for
you.
your time
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you, ladies. All
I'm
right.
gonna go cry
Have a
through
great
my
day.
nose. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Let's go. Thanks,
Right,
buddy.
blessings.
Bye.